Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good evening, good. And today is the Thursday, the 12th of October 2023. And welcome to another evening of In Review. And I just want to welcome you. And for those also on TikTok, welcome. Good evening. Hope you're well. As you can see, my topic today talks about the art of diplomacy and wars before they start. Stay focused. And one of the reasons why I said stay focused is that because with so many things happening in the world, we can lose the focus and get distracted, even though it's difficult to say distraction at the time as what we're talking about now. The world is going through a spin, a tailspin. And one has been talking about this for such a long time. We talk about this all the while, the tailspin of the world. But one of the things that I wanted to sort of talk about is, when it comes on to war, and when it comes on to diplomacy, diplomacy, sometimes they believe it has failed, failed in the sense whereby it is difficult for persons to have discussions, to have reasoning. I said something the other day when I was on my walk, and what I said was that people somewhat lack the tolerance. People somewhat want to kill. They want to do something and they want to fix something, but they have no resolution, they have no solution, so they kill. Right? That's what they do. They kill. And when you explore the timeless of art diplomacy and the role in preventing wars, diplomacy is not just an abstract concept, it's a living, breathing practice that has shaped the course of history. The art of negotiations, the finesse of communication, and the ability to find common ground when all seems lost. In an age where conflicts and tensions can erupt in an instant, the importance of diplomacy, talking, communication cannot be overstated. A powerful tool that allows nations to resolve disputes, promote peace, and ensure the prosperity of the people. And one of the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip is tragic and deeply is a complex situation that has resulted in untold suffering for both Israelites and Palestinians. And I'm sure we'll all agree on that. Totally agree on that, ladies and gentlemen. And it is something that we have to face each day, leaving destruction and human tragedy in its wake. And in this ongoing strife, it is essential to remember that there are innocent civilians on both sides who are caught in the crossfire. A heart-wrenching reality that children, families, and individuals are living in constant fear and danger, loss of life and human suffering. Stark reminder of urgent need for peaceful resolution. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, things are still happening in the world. Political parties are having, countries are to run, Jamaica's got to run, and Gary's got to talk. Gary's got to say what he's got to say. Right, Gary? How are
Yes,
you,
my
man?
friend. I'm okay.
Yes. Gary, we're living in a very, it is not new, but it's a troubling time that we have spoke about for so many times on this show. And anyone can press some buttons, some repeat buttons, and it seems like a deja vu because we are back again with leadership in the world where it seems like it cannot be handled. But this bit with Israel and Hamas is of a different proportion. What's your take, Gary?
Well, we must I believe that we must send our condolences and also words of support for the Israelis, for the Israeli government, and for the military. At the
Mm,
same time, I think that there are Palestinians right now that we should really pray for. Also, I mean, they whether it's one, two, 10, 20, but I would believe that there is a small section of that community that does not deserve to experience what they are experiencing right now.
mm,
Loss of life, loss of property,
yes.
electricity, water, and the basic essentials
Mm,
that they are needing to operate for daily life, they have not got. So my heart goes out to them also, you
mhm.
know. But it's very sad of what's happening there. We have leadership of all sorts, Sylbourne. Leadership, let's class it like this. Leadership of evil and leadership of righteousness.
Yes.
I'm not saying that the Israelis is righteousness, but what I'm saying is that there are two types of leadership in the world today,
Mm,
and there's leadership of business, there's leadership within schools, within families, and within churches, as well as we know in government. And
yes.
sometimes the leadership that of government that does not rule right, then there is what do you say now? There's a price to be paid, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah. But before we go into the conflict which is going on over there, I saw something, and I'll bring this up first. And I don't know if you saw it. Unfortunately, I don't have the video, but I can always find the video if anything. But it was a very um troubling moment whereby Keir Starmer was at his party conference and was about to give his main speech, and someone came up and they just pour some silver stuff on top of him, some sort of frills or whatever. Like that. I don't know if you saw it, Gary. Yeah,
I don't think so.
yeah. I'm gonna look if I
It's,
if I can find it, but it was really troubling because right there and then it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody, Gary. You know what I'm trying to say? You know,
mm,
pouring something
mm.
on. It could be any sort of thing which they poured on him. And you wonder about the security factor there at the party conference for the Labour Party.
Oh, you mean with Keir Starmer when he
There's
when he
some,
came and that guy poured like glitter all over him.
yeah, and I'm sure he didn't want to be Gary Glitter.
Oh well. I mean, that guy had a few seconds of fame, and probably Keir Starmer had an opportunity to enhance his image. I don't know.
Yeah, it was what they call a glitter attack. That's what they call
Well,
it. They call it a glitter attack. And I'm gonna, but but you know, leaders at this point. I mean, the guys them took so long to come on. I'm gonna actually show it. I'm gonna actually show it because when you look at it, it was very. And I think I'm using the independent site or something like that. But I'm gonna show it actually because it was really concerning. Let me see. I think I see something from Herbert actually saying something. Share screen. Keir Starmer glitter attack. Where is it? Showered in glitter. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Is it come up? Yeah,
yeah.
there it is. There. Now, when you think of that, I mean, that's concerning, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That, that's very concerning. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Hello, guys. Those on TikTok and those on Facebook or so like that. Welcome to the show. We're just talking about the leader of the Labour Party, who's planning to be the next prime minister. There was a glitcher attack, but the fact that how close can someone get to the person like that? Can they get to you at your church like that, Gary? Leaders, person? Can come on, push you.
Well, what do you call it now? I've got the most sophisticated um deterrent,
Really?
Yeah, I've got a very good. I've got a very good um what do you call them? Security. I've got very good security around me at my local church.
Really? I mean, Rambo style,
No,
Holy
no.
Ghost style.
It's very stealthy. Very stealthy. You wouldn't even know he's there, or that, or they are there. You wouldn't even know that they are there.
You got angels encamped around you.
Of course, man. You can't get
Yeah.
through them.
Michelle say, "Can they rev?" Michelle say, "Can they rev? Can they rev?" There she says, "Can they?"
Yeah, man. They are top class, top class. You can't get through them when they stand to defend me, man. I don't have to move in. I'm not afraid at all. I'm not
Not
afraid at
afraid.
all.
Not afraid.
No.
Herbert, how are you doing? Can you hear me? Herbert, I think Herbert, can you hear us?
I'm very, I'm hearing you. I'm very well, thank you. Good
Okay, good,
evening,
good,
Gary.
good. Yeah, good
Yeah.
evening. How are
Hello,
you doing?
Herbert.
Yeah. Uh, we're just talking about the security factor at the Labour conference whereby Keir Starmer was attacked by Glitter, not Gary Glitter. You know, I don't know if you saw it, Herbert. I don't know if you're hearing me clearly.
You, I'm getting a feedback.
Yeah. If you if you if you come out and come back in, if anything, to come out and come back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just power and come back in. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Gary. So yeah, so that was just that bit there. And then there's a lady from the SNP who actually jumped ship, you know. MP Lisa Cameron defects from SNP to Conservatives. You know. Do you think Rishi Sunak will be the next prime minister at the next election?
Who?
Rishi Sunak. You know who Rishi Sunak is?
Do I think he's going to come back as prime minister?
I'm asking you. You're the prophetic one.
Listen. Don't you see that I believe that there is an effort to undermine Rishi?
You think so?
I
Let me
think
just check with. Let me just check with Herbert. Herbert, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's much better there. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah.
Um,
Now we just had started just talking briefly about Israel, but we're not gonna we just open on that bit there. But we're just two things we discussed a while ago was the sprinkles upon Keir Starmer at the
yes,
conference
Sydial.
where yeah and
so. How are
I'm
you,
very good,
Herbert?
thank you.
It's good. Yeah,
I'm
good
good,
to see
Gary.
you
How are
again,
you?
man. I'm all right. I'm all right. Sylbourne did. You got to wrap his knuckles. He didn't send me your number.
yeah.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Herbert?
That was To me, that was a lack of lapse in the security.
Yeah. A total lapse in the security. I totally agree with you as well.
Yeah,
To be of such
and
close proportion. Yeah.
for security, for security,
You okay there? Yeah.
Is he getting a delayed reaction
I think
there,
you get it.
Sil?
Yeah. I think Herbert is getting a slight delay there as well, and it's freezing. Um. But yeah, Gary, as we were saying,
let me leave and come back.
yeah, yeah. Okay, good man. Yes, Gary. Let's crack on. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think Rishi Sunak will be the next prime minister?
I hope he is, you know. I
Really?
mean, I know that care he's running to be, and I know that there seems to be. Have you noticed the slight? Um, it you can miss it, but there's a slight preference by way of what even the media is trying to give care. I think they're trying to push the Labour Party forward to say that they will be the best party to have in government. Don't if you it's very slight. It's very
Mm,
slight. However, I think Rishi should remain because it's a difficult time now
mm,
around the world, economically, politically, and I think to make a change at this moment in time, I think it will be quite. I don't think it will go very well. I know that things aren't good anyway. I
yeah.
think by way of economics, by way of the state of the world politically as well as in other ways. But I think that if Rishi is given the opportunity to stay the course, then
Yeah.
I think he will do well. I think he will do better as time goes on. I don't think that now is the time to change the captain, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Herbert. Herbert, how you doing? Group layout. Herbert, I'm gonna say that you're using Flow or Digicel in Jamaica, man. What sort of Wi-Fi are you using in the UK? Are you are you connecting from Jamaica? Well, at least he saw that. He heard
So
that, Herbert,
more like from the Middle East.
from the Middle East. Anyway, I think you're here. You can hear us because you're laughing, and there might be a delay which you have to work with. But what do you think about
Yes.
Keir Starmer, and Rishi Sunak to be to continue to Rishi Sunak to be continue to be the next prime minister, or Keir is a man?
Um. From my
Because
limited knowledge in politics,
uh,
yeah, from my limited knowledge, yeah, yeah.
okay, is that we're having some serious delay, massive, serious delay there, Herbert?
From my
Uh, okay, Herbert, we're gonna be struggling definitely. Um, I'm gonna
I'll
suggest
see.
two things. Herbert, I'm gonna suggest two things. Um, if you lose the virtual background, I don't know if that is playing somewhere in the.
yeah.
If you lose the virtual background and see what you did last week or so, I think that may be
Okay.
playing into it because we're having some serious delay. And and what they say in Jamaica, Josie will say wheel and come again. Yeah. If you lose the virtual background, yeah. Yes, Gary. Uh-huh. So what you're saying, Gary, you think that it is important at this time for Rishi Sunak to continue?
I think it's very important. I think
Mm,
it's crucial. I mean, Rishi is making some inroads. I think he's forming and he's strengthening relationships with other world leaders as such.
mm,
Economically, I think he is getting to grips with what he needs to do. I think that to change the captain, to change the direction also economically of what the other party may do to think that they can put things straight. I think that's the wrong move right now. I honestly believe so. I think that he's businesslike. He knows what it is to conduct himself, to
yeah.
present himself, and to bring the business order of the day.
Uh-huh.
Again, it would be wrong. It would be totally wrong to change him.
The trajectory at this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have confidence in Rishi, even though yes, I have confidence in Rishi. I don't know much about Keir Starmer. I don't think he doesn't show to have the gravitas at all.
Yes. Herbert, what do you say? Still delay?
Hello?
Yeah, yeah. All right. Are you using your phone? Are you using your phone or are you using your laptop? Are you using your phone or using your laptop? Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to speak to Herbert while we're on this. Yes, Gary, you're saying we got to crack on. Yeah. We have to lose Herbert, yeah.
I don't think we should really change. I don't think the electorate should really change Rishi. I doubt if they're going to really do that, really, because
Mm.
this country wants a white man to be playing.
You think so?
Do I think so? I don't think so. I know so.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we've got to call a spade a spade. Even though our country, the West, they can put as many laws and legislation in place, to say that, well, you mustn't call this one by that name or this by
Mm.
that, and or whatever. But underneath all of that, Sylbourne, it's just a layer. It's just a layer to protect them. It's not a layer to protect us because we know exactly how they think about us as a people.
Mm. Yeah.
So Rishi, he may be the best person for the job, but because again, it's like going into a workplace. You
Yes.
know, you've and it's been documented, hasn't it? I mean, with many television shows or documentaries of two people going for the same job, one being black, one being white. One may have and both of them have the same degrees, the same, certificates. They both may have the same amount of experience to do the job,
Yeah.
you know, or the
Mm.
the the black man or the black individual may be one who is far more suited for the job. But when
Yes.
they go
Yeah.
but when they go in for the job, who do they choose? It's been
Yeah.
shown on TV. So Channel 4 has done that
Mm.
experiment many times. Who gets the job? The white guy.
Yeah.
And he may not have any degree or anything like that. He may not even have any experience, but because he's white, he gets the job.
Okay.
So
Let us. Yeah. Mm.
So these things are in society, and again, let me refer back to a particular individual that says is in society. It's John Barnes.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you got in society, then everything else gonna filter into it. Um, Herbert, can you hear clearly now?
I'm hearing you. Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Was your laptop you're using?
Yeah, I was using a laptop. I'm not on my
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's a bit tricky. I can't explain it sometimes really. They call it the bandwidth or so pressure on the thing, you know. But in a quick one, we're just talking about Rishi Sunak, but you said you don't really tap into politics. But even from your observation, um, are you seeing down the road in next year a Rishi Sunak government continuing or what do you call it, Keir Starmer?
No, I think from next year onwards, Rishi Sunak will be able to go anywhere in the world that he wants without any burden around him.
You
I
what?
think he'll be replaced as a prime minister.
Or you'll be replaced?
Yeah, I think so because if you look at um the current um labor practices, strikes everywhere, and if you do not have the public service on your side as a prime minister, you're you're running a race from behind.
But
I
can I?
think
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I think to for him to he has lost the plot to perform as a prime minister when he cannot control the strikes that are going on.
But wouldn't you say that, and Gary, you can come in here, that all the successive or recent government in the conservative, they have never had the public sectors with them, really. Even the last two elections that David Cameron won, and also Boris Johnson won. Gary, they never had the
Say
public.
that again. I don't understand that. Go ahead with that again. Say that again.
Yeah, Herbert said a while ago that because the public sectors, all those like the nurses and those doctors and whatever like that, those sort of companies are not with them, or those organizations are not with them, and the pressure is on with the striking, it is more unlikely that Rishi Sunak will continue as prime minister. But I was just saying that the last two elections, Boris Johnson, David Cameron, over and over again, they have never been with the conservative.
No, again, um, Boris Johnson made he made a spectacle to me. He made a spectacle of the NHS because during the lockdown and all of that, he he made it to look as if the NHS was doing a splendid job, and yes, they were, because many of them have put their lives at risk to look after many of the patients and such. So, and what did
Yes.
he do? He said, was it every Wednesday or Thursday? You should stand outside
Thursday.
and clap.
Mm.
Right.
And
Now,
that's
okay, he did that. Now, what if he was still in government? What would he do now? That's what I'd like to ask. If he was still party leader as well as prime minister,
yeah.
what would he do now? Because he spent billions, well, probably millions of pounds building makeshift hospitals. Where are they?
Yeah.
He even promised one or two new hospitals. I think it was about
Yeah.
five. Where are they now?
Yeah.
You know, he,
But wouldn't you say that that was a period of an epidemic, this COVID thing, which nobody knew, and they were all preparing for eventualities. And I just had touched Boris Johnson. Remember, David Cameron also was in that same sort of boat, but not different with not COVID. But the public sector, there's always striking whenever you have conservative. And during that time, that was Jeremy Hunt, the health sector.
But
Yeah,
remember as well that from 2016 onwards, they they had the meal of the day, which was Brexit,
yeah,
and everybody bought into Brexit because it was good for England,
yes.
right? But as we're seeing 7 years later, they're still trying to figure the way out.
Mm.
Petrol prices have gone up, utilities have gone up, um, food has gone up
Uh,
because of because of the platform that they ran on in 2016 and 2019, selling people false narrative about Brexit.
But is it Brexit or
In
the increases which are happening now? Is it Brexit or is it Russia and Ukraine
it's it has a bit. It is combined,
combined? Yes,
right? Um, in today's world where countries and businesses are trying to create alliances and partnerships, the powers that be here think they can tackle the world by themselves.
yes,
Hence,
Mm.
gas prices, petrol prices have gone up sky high even before Russia invaded Ukraine. And that was a writing on the wall that everybody could have seen.
yes, yes.
So the prime minister now is just carrying out a torch where somebody gave it to him to carry. I don't think he knows why he's carrying that torch.
So what you say is dead man walking. Is that what you say?
Correct.
Dead man walking.
Correct.
All right. Okay. Let's
Correct.
move on. Let's move on and go into the next war, which is Russia, not Russia. Israel and Hamas and Palestinian and Palestine and so like that. Um, I brought this up because one has got to really discuss it in brief terms or whatever like that. But I also said stay focused because there are a lot of things that we need to still deal with. But this sort of event which is happening now can actually throw persons off course, right? It can throw persons off course. Um, Gary, what's your take on this war which has happened now between Hamas and Palestine? Because they say it's full blown war now, which is there.
Between Hamas and Israel.
Yeah, well, is it Palestine? Is it Hamas? I mean, because now
No,
you're seeing
Hamas.
you're
No,
seeing the map. The map is drawn now because you have Hezbollah as well. You got a bit of Syria. Everybody's now coming in. Israel is in the middle. But is it
yeah,
Hamas?
it's
Is it
Hamas.
Hamas? Yeah,
It's Hamas. It's
Hamas,
Hamas.
not
They're
Palestine.
saying no. I mean, they're saying that. Remember, Palestine, as far as they're concerned, is what they say Israel is. It's another
Mm,
word that they would use for Israel, Palestine. But they're saying they're fighting for the Palestinians,
mm.
which is those. Let's say I would say, and from my understanding,
Yes,
those who live in Gaza, West Bank. All
yes,
right. You've got you've got Hamas, which are, probably they are more Iranian or supported
mm,
from Iran, as well as Hezbollah. Hezbollah, they are stationed up in the north of northern borders of Israel. So it I mean, war has broken out, and I think that probably over the last few months or so, there has been skirmishes, hasn't there? I mean,
mm,
every so often on the news we hear of killings on the streets of Tel Aviv, shootings on the streets of Jerusalem, you know, and then the police force, they will come out and shoot and kill
mm.
those if they've been killing Jews at bus stops and driving cars into bus stops and all of that kind of stuff. So that's been happening. I don't think a month or two has passed in the past recent probably years or so, or within the last year or so, where Israel has not had to deal with things like that.
Yes.
But now we now know, we have now been told sporadically that this has been 1 year in the making. 1 year, you know. So they have been planning.
Mm.
Iran has been behind it. And it would also seem from what reports are
You're
saying,
saying that what you're saying is that you believe that Iran is behind this.
not what I believe, it is known that Iran is
Yeah.
behind Hamas and Russia, because even with the drone drum, sorry, even with the drone bomb that was dropped
Yes.
on the first tank that was attacked. It is said and it is known that Hamas doesn't have that technology.
Yes.
It's not even Iran has that technology.
Yeah.
It's Russia that has had that technology.
Okay. Stick a pin on that.
So,
Yeah. Stick a pin on that. Herbert, what's your take on this?
You mean with Israel and Hamas? Um,
yeah.
I think that has some history behind it, lots of history.
Mm. Yeah. You frozen? Okay, he's frozen. One of the things, just put it in some context. I think he's trying to come back in. It, the, they said the Israel-Palestine conflicts dates back to the end of the 19th century in 1947. But they said 1947. Actually, you need to go all the way back to Abraham. But anyway, the United Nations adopt Resolution 181, known as the Partition Plan, which sought to divide the British man. So the Brits have been involved in this, Gary. The Brits have been involved in this process for a long time. It said that the Brits, um, on May the 14th, 1948, the state of Israel was created, sparking the first Arab-Israelite war. The war ended in 1949 with Israel victory, but 750,000 Palestinians were displaced, and the territory was divided into three parts: the state of Israel, the West Bank of the Jordan, and the Gaza Strip. Um, I was just filling in for you, Robert, if you can come back here.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I think over the years, politics and politicians have fueled the the division or fueled the tension between the two sets of people,
Mm.
right? I do not think a US president has created a foreign policy strong enough to settle the conflict. The only
Mm.
person tried and he thought he did a good job was the former occupier of
Okay, Gary, you're saying I think he was going to say the former occupier of the White House, which more like Trump. Continue, Gary. Onto that point there about the history, because the history I understand is from Abraham, isn't it?
Well, yes. I mean, ever since Israel was formed as a people,
Yeah,
from from um, from Abraham, go all the way down to when Jacob was around. Go ahead, Herbert. You finish up what you're
yeah,
saying.
yes,
yeah.
yeah, and I the deal that he made when he moved the embassy to Jerusalem. Um, I think he did that to
Sorry,
his own benefit.
the occupier. We're at that point, and I assume you're talking Trump. When he said
Yes,
the
yeah,
occupier,
yeah, yeah,
okay, Trump. Okay, I,
yes,
I, I did
yes,
right. Yes, okay. Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. He did it, hoping to get some kickback from the Israelis with his real estate and all that,
Mm.
right? But I do not think as as um as leaders we should be so quick to choose our favorites. Do what is best for people
Mm.
because everybody at the end will suffer. There's no winners in a war.
Mm. And when you say favorites, you're saying many people are choosing Israel as their favorite. Is that what you're saying? Or some are choosing
Um,
Palestinian as
some
their favorite.
some some choose Palestine, some choose Egypt. Is the Israelis, but I think if you need if you want a solution, you have to be bold enough to sit at the table with leaders from both parties
Yeah.
and decide what the future is going to be. The future
You
will
know.
not come through missiles and bullets and all that.
Mm. You know what somebody said today? They said when they said Israel is God bless, which all countries are God bless, Israel is God bless. They said, I thought Jamaica was God bless. That's what they said. They thought Jamaica was the God bless country, you know? And I said Jamaica, this all was a chosen generation, Jamaicans.
The
Except people.
Belgians will tell you that they're God bless.
Exactly. Everybody's gonna say that. Gary, Gary, there is the scriptures and the Bible speaks about Israel and God's chosen people, and it's an era which is very controversial because there was even some flag of Israel on some building and people were tearing it down. I think in the UK of recent days. But there's a spiritual principle about praying for Israel, isn't it? It's scriptural, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's around Psalms 122 when it speaks about to pray
Mm.
for the peace of Israel. You
Yes.
know, um, yeah, I mean that ought to be so. I mean, there is a covenant, an everlasting covenant that God made with, at least let us say, with Abraham, the father,
Abraham.
the father, or the father of Israel, or the grandfather of Jacob. You
Yes.
know, that we ought to pray again, the covenant that he would be with his people, that he will sustain them, even though they disobeyed him. You know, they did what they did. He chastised them, but he won't go back. He won't go back on his word when it comes to
Lord.
them. If he
Mm.
goes back on his word with them, then all of his promises, all the promises that he's even made with you and I, and those who accept him, we can't really stand on anything that he says because he has gone back on the promise with with the children of Jacob, you
Hmm.
know, which are the children of Abraham, or because each Jew refers to Abraham as their father.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, there is a principle there, but I hear what Herbert is saying. I mean, humanly speaking, we ought to love everyone, and we should be able. For instance, if I don't get on with Herbert for whatever reason, and we're always at each other's heads or each other's throats, then you, Sylbourne, ought to be able to say, listen, Garry, listen, Herbert, let's sit around a table. Let's talk. Let's see what is it that what is it, Herbert, that Garry is doing to you or saying or acting, or what has he got that you think should be yours, and vice versa. And we can come to um some common understanding.
Some sort
I
of
may not.
resolution. Mm.
Yes, yes, some resolution. But then that's not going to happen, is it? In this case, that will never happen between the Israelis and Hamas, let us say, and even certain sections of the Palestinian authorities, the PLO, as it was said with Arafat when he was the leader. Then you have Mahmoud Abbas, or Abbas Mahmoud, whatever, whichever way
Yeah.
it goes. He's a sworn enemy of Israel. So it would seem that that is never going to happen there. So as long as there is life in this world, as far as I
Yeah.
can see, there is always going to be some conflict between the Israelis and the Arabs. Now it's funny because Saudi is on. It would seem rather delicately, but they seem to be on the side of Israel, even though they're saying to Hamas, put down your weapons to some extent, stop the
Yeah.
conflict. But then you have certain other Arabs like Yemeni, like the Iraq, like Iran. Jordan seems to be on the side of Israel, But then that can change within a moment of time, because they,
mm,
even though they are Arabs, are brothers, the Israelis are their cousins. I think we've got to
mm.
understand that it's a family squabble down there, and who wants to get involved in a family squabble? Because if you don't mind, Sean,
But
one
remember,
of them.
Gary, in every family, right? When it comes to,
uh
and Jamaicans call it deadlift, there's going to be problems.
Mm.
Yes. I
Well,
understand that.
as Michelle said, there's a long history behind these countries. Guess what? I feel them war. Them have to figure it out. A lot of people have been saying, "Listen, I feel them. Let them sort it out. Let us sort out some of the things that mean a lot to us." But well, one has got to actually really grab hold of something of a similar nature with what Russia went into Ukraine, and waboom, Hamas went into Israel. But when that is said, people always counteract it and said, yeah, but Israel have actually closing on them to a point whereby it's like a dog. Sometimes you just want to strike because there's nowhere to go, you know? And that has somewhat made it very difficult for them to live. But even so, I still I need to point out also that some of the things that we are seeing and which is coming out on social media and TV or so, they are now debunking a lot of them to say some of them are fake. You know, Gary. Some of the information out there are actually fake. Some of the missiles which have been shown, they are saying these are from years ago or so, former Syrian wars, former different things there. So one has got to be even so very careful. One has got to be so very careful as to what we're actually watching. You know, you know.
Right, right.
Yes, Robert. Yeah, yeah,
I'm back.
yeah. Now, what I just interject right there is that a lot of the information which is coming out, we got to also be very careful about a lot of the information which we are watching, because some of it is fake. Right? There's a massive fake thing which is going on where they're debunking it. A lot of these information, I still can't believe, and there are some people are actually saying it needs to be verified about a lot of children being decapitated, the heads being cut off or something like that. You know, the Hamas have done that. You know, I don't know if you guys hear that. They're actually revamping and sort of getting some verification on some of these things.
I
Well, I
think in our
mean,
day-to-day lives, we have to be able to separate fact from fiction.
Mm. And how do you separate fact from fiction, Gary?
I mean,
Somebody,
if I
somebody
can
just,
say, I mean,
somebody just asking our,
you,
what are you talking about? Are you supporting Israel or Palestine? We are supporting peace. I'm going to say I'm supporting peace. I want peace in the Middle East. Pray for Israel. Pray for peace of God to transcend all understanding. Gary, when someone said pray for the peace of Israel and pray for Israel, what I look at sometimes is that if someone is saying, let's pray for the peace of Gary's home, you also have to pray that those impeding or those things which are attacking Gary's home, they don't do that anymore. There's a level of peace that transcends. Does that mean to say you need to pray for Palestine? I mean, say you need to pray for Hamas. You know, sometimes we have to. Sometimes we get leaders. Sometimes, and they say, pray for the leaders that there be peace in the land. And maybe the leader is one of the worst person. We still have to pray for them according to spiritual principles, isn't it?
yeah, well, I think we've got to pray for everyone,
Mm,
not just for Israel on a
mm,
whole, but I think we have to pray for the
mm.
Palestinians,
Yeah.
as well as for everybody that the Arabs, and for everyone that's concerned,
Yes.
because peace does not only have to reign and be in Israel, but around the world.
Mm,
You know, if there's conflict in the nation, then there's conflict in the family. If there's no conflict in the family, then there is no conflict in the nation, in society. How can you have peace if you had, let's say you had a compound like a kibbutz. I don't know how many people were in a kibbutz, but
Yes.
let's say you had 700 people in one area, and all families had harmony. Then where are you then if somebody says, oh, there is problems in that cupboard, so there is strife, how can you have peace amongst every family, the 700 you say you have, but yet there is strife? It's totally impossible. But the moment there is one strife or two, families that are at odds with each other, obviously that's going to bring tension in that area. So I think it's best that we can have peace all the way around.
Well,
Just have peace.
yeah.
Pray for
Well, yeah. Well, in Miss Congeniality and these shows with beauty contestants, they always want to be United Nation ambassadors or so. They always talk about we want world peace, we want world peace. Everybody always want world peace. Do you think there'll ever be world peace at this time based on all things that are going on? Herbert, do you think there'll ever be
No,
world peace?
no, no.
Ladies, people on TikTok, do you
Because
think there'll ever be world peace?
every
Those who are
everybody,
watching on Facebook and YouTube, do you think there'll ever be world peace? Go on. No,
every
Herbert.
every major nation, G7, G20, they'll be quick to call out a smaller nation as state-sponsored terrorism, um, state-sponsored state-sponsored terrorist organizations, right?
Mm,
Um, but they're only terrorists when it's convenient. Because
yeah,
let's go back to Russia.
yeah.
Russia had World Cup football, they had World Championship, they had Formula One. They were involved in everything.
Mm,
At the time, Russia was the darling of the world.
yes.
But when they started to invade Ukraine and start to disrupt the sunflower oil and the weed shipment and all that,
Yes.
right? Then it became it just not became a bigger problem,
Yeah.
right? When Putin changed the constitution in 2000 to remain in office until 2036, nobody said anything to him.
Mm,
When he annexed Crimea in 2014, or he built um, a pipeline to leave Ukraine out of it so that those people could freeze to death in the winter. Nobody
mm,
said anything because Europe and the rest of the world were getting free, cheap LNG and
yeah.
cheap gas, cheap Russian gas,
Mm,
right? So there will never be any peace in the world until um, that leader comes to say, all right, let's sort this out once and for all. No, it's not going to happen because no matter what you do, you will upset some people.
someone said on TikTok there was no fuss when we were told to pray for Ukraine, but there seems to be a problem. The response to the question about whether they're going to be in a world peace, never. Second person saying no. You know. Um, yeah, but Gary, the Bible talks about it. I mean, when we look up, when the people are saying we look up, the redemption is at hand, isn't it? We're talking about world peace. We're talking about finding someone sometime to be the answer. That could be the person which they say the people say the mark of the beast or so like that. Are we into that zone now whereby nothing is so sure that we got to make sure that we are getting ourselves ready for something? Somebody said there'll be false peace when the Antichrist comes. Somebody said, have you heard of Creative Society Project? I don't know what that is. Some people are coming with some deep stuff here, Gary. Deep stuff.
I mean, Peter Tosh in one of his songs
Mm.
that everybody wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And for the Palestinians, or let me not say Palestinian, that's too much of a broad brush. For Hamas, Hezbollah, they
Mm.
think peace can be gained from behind the rifle,
Yes.
right? The Israelis think that peace can be gained by going into Palestine and eliminate Hamas, the Hamas leadership, whatever. But you can only get peace when two people like Yasser Arafat back in the 90s offered the olive branch, but it wasn't accepted.
Mm. Wasn't accepted.
No, it wasn't accepted. He went to the UN,
Yeah.
and in his speech, he said he came with the olive branch in one hand and the gun in the other.
Mm.
Which one do you want?
Mm.
It wasn't accepted.
Well, Clinton was there smiling up and still have that picture there um, with him and Arafat. Wasn't that world peace? And just like how Blair stood with Sinn Féin and those guys and Bertie Ahern in
On
Ireland,
good on the Good Friday Agreement.
a Good Friday Agreement. So I'm
Yeah,
just posting
but
things because people are coming in and saying different things. Someone just said, "My answer is we can never have world peace as we are sinful people who do not nor have the perfect love of Jesus. Only the chosen one will know what true peace is when these are caught up to be with
and
the Lord." Yeah, that is a
and
comment
and
there.
and then
Yeah.
again, who who will you? How can you know or justify who is the chosen one?
Gary, is there a chosen one? The Israelites are chosen. They say the
Well,
Israelites are chosen. The Jews are chosen.
I mean, when you say the chosen one, I mean, is that on earth? Are you talking about? Are you identifying that with Israel or a Christian, or are you talking about, or are they referring to God or to Jesus Christ? I mean, what is it? Because while Christ was on the earth, they let us say they killed him, they crucified him, even though he was from the dead, but he was ridiculed. You know, he was hung, drawn, and quartered, so to speak. So even if it was and even if it's Israel, Israel is going through problems now. If it is you, Sylbourne, you're going through your problems. So
Yeah.
so so to say that, you know, a chosen one is one that is going to bring peace, yes, but there's a degree of problems or situations or circumstances that one
Mm.
will have to go through while we're on this terrestrial plane here, as far as I can see. You know, it's only when God returns, or let's say it's only when the Son of God returns to the earth to bring peace, will the world ever know what peace is. Because as far as we're concerned, the world doesn't know what peace is. Even though, let's say, Israel or the UK has had so many peace deals with the IRA at some point in the past, and
Mm.
none of them lasted really. And even now, there are skirmishes in Ireland every now and again where people are killed, where policemen are either killed or attempted to be killed.
Mm.
So anywhere in this world that there is problems and there's troubles, there has always been an attempt to have peace, but peace
Yeah.
is never really attained.
Sorry, one
So
second.
real peace won't come until Christ comes again.
Yeah. Yeah. Hash,
Well, you
hash,
can't have peace
one second.
when
One second. One
you
second.
have someone.
One second there. Ashraf, are you there by chance?
Yes.
I don't I don't understand how you came in, but you want me to send you the link to the YouTube channel? I don't know. You want me to send you the link to the YouTube thing link? Yes, the link. I'll send you the link so you can not the YouTube, the other one you can come. You don't have to show your face. Be much clearer, yeah? Okay. Well, it's not YouTube. It goes between WhatsApp and Facebook and it's a StreamYard link. I'll send it to you, okay? Okay, good stuff. I don't understand how you always come. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Bert, Herbert. Just want to bring somebody in from TikTok here.
Yes. You you cannot have peace or some semblance of peace when you have people that are willing to show their biases towards another set of people, right? As with the Good Friday Agreement, when Clinton and Blair orchestrated that, those people had something in common.
Mm.
These people here in the Middle East, the only thing that they have in common is that they're sworn enemies. That's the only thing that they have in common. And
From day
until
one.
from before they even reach even one,
Yes.
right? So unless someone wake up with a sense of maturity and some common sense and say this has got to stop. We're killing off our future. It will continue.
Gary, would you say this point back now to the whole aspect of leadership? Because my opening, which I started, I spoke about the art of diplomacy, which is lacking. It talked about preventing wars through diplomacy. It's not about appeasement or capitulation. It's about recognizing the common humanity that unite us all. It's about understanding that wars often lead to immeasurable suffering and destruction, and that there must be a better way to resolve our differences. Yeah. Is it that the lack of diplomacy is what is happening, or these guys, these leadership, don't know how to be diplomatic? They speak about the president, prime minister of Israel. He's like, what is it? You got the doves and you got the hawk. He's more like a hawk, isn't it? That's what's
No,
being
I
said.
mean, no. I
Gary,
mean,
yeah.
I think a good example that I can probably bring. I don't know if Herbert would agree with this. Is look is it Chad? No, it's not Chad, is it?
Those African
Um,
countries.
yeah, with these two opposing factions.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, why they having war? Why has war broken out? War has broken out down there because of the selfish desires of each of these men. One was the RSF, I think, Rapid Defense Force or whatever it's called, and the other one is the regular army.
Mm.
Now one doesn't want to be disbanded. One wants to rule, and the other one also wants to rule. One, the army general has told this rapid force that they must be assimilated into the regular army. He doesn't want to be assimilated into the regular army. He
Mm.
wants to be the top notch. And then that is why there is tension and war down there right now in Africa. Now,
Mm.
with with um with with Hamas as well as with Israel, we see that okay, the problems of this state of that little country there is centuries old. We know
Mm.
it's a family squabble. We know that, but
Yeah.
at the same time, what we've got to understand is that they believe that Israel shouldn't exist.
Mm.
So the conflict is not merely one wanting to rule over the others, more or less. It's about one saying that one should not exist. One doesn't have a right to live.
Is it also in their
So,
constitution or their paperwork as well to that effect? Death to Israel.
well, probably, yes, yeah. And
I,
in
I, I- yeah.
the presidents of Iran, the subsequent presidents of Iran has said
Mm.
and repeated death to Israel.
Yeah.
Israel should not exist. They want to push Israel into the sea.
Mm.
So down there, it's quite, I think the tensions down there are quite different than any other conflict in the world because one is fighting to survive while the one is fighting to destroy. So it's saying all Israel really is asking for, give us the right to be here. We need or we have a right to live just like any other nation
Mm.
in the world. We have a right. The land that we're on, they will fight tooth and nail.
Mm.
They will fight tooth and nail to say that it's the land which God gave Abraham.
Mm.
Now the thing about it, and even with Michelle, I would disagree with anybody that says it's not Israel's land. Now the thing about it is this, Sylbourne, and I think we've got to understand this, in my understanding anyway, that the land that they're on, Sylbourne, is God's land. I really want to really press that home. It's God who gave Abraham. When you look at the promise back in Genesis, I think it is in Genesis there, where God said to Abraham, look as far east,
As you
west,
can see.
north, and south that you can see. It's what I'm going to give to your seed. And it was even before Abraham had a seed. It was even before Abraham had a child. God said, I'm going to give it to you. So it wasn't even that Abraham bought the land. However, the means of passage was in buying land at that time. God
I took.
said, I'm
Yeah.
giving you the. So that then was passed, and that's a covenant that God made with Abraham to his seed. And it's come down to this. Now, again, in the early beginnings there, anyone who does read the Bible, when Ishmael is the first son of Abraham, that's a fact. I'm not arguing that. Isaac was the second son of Abraham, even
Yeah.
though Isaac was the boy of promise and also was by his wife Sarah. Now, even while Isaac was a young baby or a young boy, he was jeered at. Yeah, he was made fun at. And that's why Sarah said to Abraham,
Yeah.
run out Hagar. So from those early beginnings, we see that rivalry was happening. Rivalry had set in amongst the family because they were brothers, half
Yeah.
brothers. Rivalry had set in.
I'm like at a Bible, ladies and gentlemen. I'm at Bible study. I took up my Bible. I'm at Bible study. Hashtag, have you got your Bible? I can. Even people are sending me. People are even sending me scriptures.
I
This is we are
mean,
at Bible study tonight, ladies and
Gary,
gentlemen.
yeah, Gary, it all comes on to understanding history.
Yeah,
History
yes,
and religion are intertwined. Yes.
yes.
Now, if you are you're living beside someone that you consider your neighbor,
Mm.
if anything should happen, who's the closest person for you to call on?
The neighbor,
Isn't
isn't
the
it? The
neighbor?
neighbor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why is it
Uh-huh.
that these two neighbors are killing off each other.
Well, again,
Well,
Herbert,
yeah.
as you recognize this, as you and as you see that one doesn't think the other should be around, should live, while the other one is fighting. It's like, okay, it's like if you're beside me, I live beside you, but
Mm,
you just don't want me there. But I'm deciding to stay here. Now it's like me saying, I'm not moving. Why should I move? What have I done you wrong? As far
yeah.
as you're concerned, you just want to push me out of my place. I don't belong here. I will fight to survive here. As long as it takes, I will fight to survive. You are saying you don't belong here. Move. Find somewhere else go. And all them kind of things. And the history and the history between Israel and the Arabs, because it's really cousin against cousin, when
Mm.
you think about it. It's two brothers down there. It's
Um,
Ishmael
And
and
Isaac.
Isaac.
no,
Okay,
no.
let's bring in Ashrag. She's been there. Hi, Ashrag. I'm getting people over
Hi,
TikTok here. Hi. Why are they fighting
hi.
over there? Why they fighting? Why are they fighting?
And when I usually come on, I go against the grain because I have to. Because I'm listening and I have my eyes wide open until it got closed and I was squinting and saying, what am I hearing here? Okay, let us do the history of these people because the Jewish people who are now inhabiting that land. They are not the Jews of biblical days. They were brought there in 1948. They went there. We are the Jews of that land. We are the Jews of that land. We need to get the facts on history. These are what they call the agnostic Jews. Okay, what happened? What the history of them getting there? You know where they wanted first? They wanted Argentina, and they wanted Uganda. But Britain, UK gave them. UK gave them. There's a document that I have because I'm posting them on my TikTok thing. From it started, I'm just posting information so people can become aware of what is happening. All right.
Mm,
Not that I'm really. I mean, I can. They're my cousins. They're my cousins, the Palestinians, right? Those are the people of the land. All of that belong to them. What has actually happened? You are talking about it the wrong way. In 1948, there was a document signed in 1919 where, and then you see, because I placed a document on my TikTok too, where Britain gave it to the Rothschild. It is there. Now in 1948, there was it's called an occupation. They went in and they gave them that, right? I remember at this time, before they even reached there were Jews living there long before that, Christians, Muslims, and they were all living and being good. But when these people went in now, were calling themselves Jewish, right? They
mm,
now decided that they didn't want having these Palestinian people, the Arabs, with them. It's like it's what compromising their existence, and they didn't want it, so they did all kind of things to them. There's a thing in Palestine. If they're going in, they have to use a particular gate to go in. Tourists and other people are allowed to go into Palestine, and the people of even of the little part that they give them, because a small part that they have left, a very
mm.
small part that they have left. So they are the persons who are being pushed into the sea, the Palestinians. Okay, so I just posted one too where there are 2.2 million of them there, and they're living in very densely populated. It is so how
Okay.
they live. It is terrible.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you saying? Are you saying then that they need to coexist or one need to leave?
No,
um,
I'm saying that we understand the Holocaust that happened with them, in Germany.
yeah, but what about the history that Gary spoke about from early days? Abraham, because I was reading here and it says, the angel of the Lord called Abraham from heaven a second time and said, I swear by myself, declared the Lord, that because you have
Hmm.
done this and you have not withheld your son, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand
And
on
the
the seashore.
descendants,
Wait, I'm reading. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through their offspring, all nations on earth will be blessed because you have obeyed me. Then Abram returned to his servants, and they set off together for Beersheba, and Abraham stayed. Um, there's a historical factor there. If one actually, or someone is going to say
and
yeah,
and the historical factor were what was Jacob's children, the 12 tribes of Israel, Jacob's children, Jacob's lineage. Remember that he stole his brothers,
Esau and
his
Jacob,
brothers. Yes, his son Jacob. That is where he stole his brothers,
birthright,
his brother's blessing.
birthright.
He stole. hmm
Yeah, it's only Gary.
It was even in that same thing where when Rebecca was being pregnant, she was
Yeah,
pregnant with twins, who was Esau
yeah,
and Jacob, and
yeah,
she said she went in prayer and she said, Lord, why is it that I am pregnant and with twins and it seems as if I'm carrying two enemies because they're fighting
yeah,
inside the belly? And the
yeah.
father said, you are indeed carrying two enemies, two different nations, right? And it also says that the father, the Holy Father said he saw he hates. He hates Esau. The word hate is being used. And I don't know if Gary can attest to that. You understand?
Okay,
It has nothing to do with these people who are
okay.
there now. And the history shows they went there in
Yeah.
1948.
Okay. I hear where you're coming from. I'm bringing back Gary now because okay, let's put it this way. You're going deep undercover. Yeah, deep. Remind me of some guy which I see sometimes standing down in Lewisham and say, "Come here and show some different." Gary, what's because we won't be able to dissect this.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, I think this is the wrong kind of thing. This is not the show really to be discussing all of this. Really.
but Gary, it's a show. Unfortunately, Gary.
Yeah, but it's too short.
We're gonna create a show especially for this, Gary. We're gonna create a show, definitely
It's
for
too
this.
short. It's too
Yeah,
short a time. I mean,
too short a time. Yeah, you're right. Mm.
the 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 the, the 1948 the 1948 is, which is the establishment of the nation of Israel. I mean, I can't say much about that. I'm not going to attempt to say anything about that.
Mm.
But there is the question can be asked: what constitutes a Jew? You know, it's not only the color of a skin.
Mm.
There's been many years and many generations has passed down throughout to that can dilute skin color.
Mm.
So the thing about it is that I'm not going to say that I'm not a Jew or I am a Jew. I don't think I have any Jewish blood running through me, and I'm
Mm.
not saying that there isn't, but I'm not going to argue that I am or I am not. I just believe to some extent that there is a people in this world that 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 say that they are, and God says that they are His people.
Mm.
And we are they.
Through the lineage of Abraham, through the lineage of Abraham. But yet,
And
on the other
Solomon
hand,
and David
there
Mm.
and the
is
Messiah.
but there is a people who are God's people, and they are His children. And I am saying that I am His child.
Mm.
I am His child. Through all the nations, the Bible says, all the nations shall be blessed through the faithfulness of Abraham.
Yes.
All the nations of the earth shall be blessed again because of Abraham.
Yeah.
So I am a child of Abraham, whether that be the
Yeah.
natural
Yeah.
or by
Yeah.
spiritual blessing.
Mm.
But we are all the children of
Yeah.
Abraham.
Okay. One of the good things about this discussion is that different persons will have their take and their views, and one will respect that as much as possible. Herbert, before I wrap up, because I just want to touch on one more thing, because this is an area, as Gary said, it is toxic, very toxic, and it's the reason why you have wars going on. Herbert, your last word on this, and something else, Herbert. what is it that we should not lose focus of while this is happening?
Um, our situation here in the UK, like I said
Mm.
last week, that young lady's murder a 7-day story.
Yes, you did
We
say
should
that.
not
You
lose
did say that.
we should not lose focus of what we are faced with here. Our
Yes.
young people, our young black people that are hurting themselves. Because parents today find it too much too happy to bury their children. And I think we should try and stay focused here and deal with what we have to deal with on the domestic front. Yes, there's always external factors, but be we should not allow ourselves to be carried away while we have our stuff in our backyard to deal with. Our young, whether from the BIM community or from the white community, we need to um, stay focused. We need to see what we can do to get them out of their situation that they're in.
Mm. No, that is really right. Gary's gonna come back. That is really right because you did say it last week that it's not even a 9-day wonder; it's a 7-day wonder, whereby the young killing of the young lady. I went down there in Croydon and I took a walk around there, and I felt the vibes and the atmosphere there. And then the whole issue which happened in Brixton, where another young man that got died, and while what is happening, as someone put it out somewhere, I forget which social media, said, black people stay focused. This is not a war. You know what I mean? Try not to get too caught up into the world
Yeah.
things, because we got so much things that we still need to do. And I believe sometimes authorities, I won't say it, but I remember when there was, I think it was September 11, there was a lady who was a part of the prime minister's team, I think with Tony Blair, and she said, a good day to bury news. And she was chastised, and I think she was
Yeah.
kicked out because she was saying the September 11th event was a time to get some things done and to bury things during the course of that time, because this is a time where sometimes politicians and whatever will try to get some things in because we are distracted, even though the distraction is serious, because we should show empathy to people who are dying across the world. We should show empathy to people who are kidnapped. We should show empathy to
Yes.
both sides, everyone being dead. But at the same time, you got people who are being killed right in a warfare right in front of us.
Of course. Right.
Ashraf,
Right.
you know what I
Right
mean?
on our doorstep.
Yeah. you know so distraction, exactly, we have our own problem that we need to deal with. True, yeah, because they got the hair issue, which is Black History Month in the UK, and that's why I always say to people, all while it is Black History Month, don't get so caught up into one month, because look at this now, it has been thrown away, it has been thrown off in a slight way, isn't it,
In
by this world
in
event.
in in a couple of hours.
Yes.
The- It's
So
it's it-
yeah.
it's for me. You have those people who, no matter what, they will always try to put the focus on them by doing something that will prick your ears to say,
Mm,
let us look what's going on over there and not pay attention to what's going on in our backyard.
yes. Because I did raise a point, and I believe it is so important that we raise a point, because uh, a lot of persons, young people, men, them, who has been involved in a lot of these things regarding crime. Listen, I'm gonna say this. I never said it publicly once, but I remember a lady one time said to me, she said to me this. She said she went to uh yes, I'll say it, 'cause I won't mention her name. She went to a meeting talking about knife crime and talking about youth crime. And on the platform, there were men, blah, 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 youth leaders, reform men. And she said her daughter was physically she was shaken. I said, what it was? She said on the platform was a guy who raped her daughter. you know, who gang raped her daughter or something like that. You know. So what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say is that a lot of the history is also entwined, and I believe that one needs to get into the homes. You know, one needs to get in there and actually to lays with the family. You know, find out more about those persons who are actually killing or fighting or stabbing. What is it? Gary said he has some problem. He's got a failure, a failure there, and that needs to be addressed. It's just like even in Jamaica as well. People know
I mean,
you're a
if
police,
you
isn't it? Yeah.
yes, and I listen, what is happening now? It's not that it is more. The only thing that it is being magnified by social media and mobile phones. Back in the
Mm,
90s, 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you had to go by what the Star and the Gleaner, JBC, and RGR told you,
yes.
right? Now you have the primary school student going to school with their phones. And it's not a bad thing either, because if that wasn't the, if they didn't have a phone, um,
Mm,
George Floyd killer would still be walking today,
yes.
right? So it has its advantages and disadvantages.
Mm,
However, parents must be able to claw back some things and allow their children to be children in the correct way. Go to
mm,
school, do what you need to do, stay off social media,
yeah.
and be something productive to society.
Yes. Yes. Ashrag, the last word, if you're there.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. My
Yeah.
last word, because I have to speak on what I came into. So let me tell you, there are no hospitals in Palestine, right? They are governed. It's an apartheid system that Israel runs with them. They have no hospitals. Israel is their court. People don't really know what's going on down in that area. So I think that investigations by persons who are going to talk about it need to happen, because it's not what it seems like, and it's coming out now that the whole thing about them entering into Israel was all a facade. That didn't happen. It was all planned because they want to further, or they want to finish the annihilation. I mean, if you want to see um Sylbourne, I put up a lot of these things on my TikTok. So if you go, you can look at them. Right?
Mm,
People are putting out
yeah.
information.
Well,
Informations are coming out.
yeah. But one of the things that has been coming out as well is that a lot of information which is out there is fake. I mean to say some of the information that we're seeing is not so, but unfortunately one cannot verify it, and they said these things need to be verified.
Right? Because
I
they found the CNN, they found
yeah,
the CNN crew who were faking that they were down there and defending Israel, and bombs were dropping and whatever there, and they found out that the CNN crew, that's also on my page,
mm,
were out there to fires. They were just at a particular area and
yeah,
acted as, I mean, using a sound
yeah,
of bomb dropping. So even if CNN can be doing that,
yeah. Okay.
CNN was
All right.
doing
Well,
that.
yeah. Well, we watch your space and see that. Anyway, make sure you don't go to crab circus, and just eat some good food down in Jamaica as well.
I'm going. Oh, she's having a thing
No, no,
tomorrow, you
let's not
know.
go there. We're not
She's
going down
having
there.
a thing tomorrow.
We don't want nobody to
She's
go
having a
start.
pre-club thing tomorrow, so I'm gonna go.
We don't want nobody talk about next thing Trump start to hear about and call Jamaica out of a place. You know what I mean? let's look on the bright side of life. Herbert, listen. Thank you so much for coming on. But as Gary said, we're
Thank you
gonna have
much, my brother.
we'll have to have some further discussion on this. And Ashrak, definitely I'll look on your page and so, because there's so much things going around, but we've got to make sure, as Herbert said, keep the focus. Keep the focus and don't get distracted. As Michelle will always say, keep the focus and don't get distracted, because how much can our brains absorb? I remember I was speaking to somebody recently. I used to go to school together, and we used to get lots of information. But at the same time, the information that we got, we could wait till we go home. we don't have to get it right away, Herbert. What is
True.
this thing about instantaneous thing? You know,
Oh,
leave from high school and go
it's
Ochi
called
and everything.
information overload.
Overload, man. I
Yeah.
just said to a guy one time, I said, I'm in some WhatsApp group. I need to come out, man. I need to come out. Like, even Saturday night last week, I didn't do talk and sip because my wife went to a church retreat, and so I just stayed with the children and cook some bad food and stuff like that, you know. And it was so peaceful, not going on, and definitely not going live and just watch things and just shut it off, because you got to reach to a point where it doesn't matter, it doesn't care. You don't
Correct.
have to know
Correct.
everything.
Correct.
Don't have to know
Like-
everything, ladies and gentlemen. Go on, Herbert. Yeah.
True. Like they used to say in Jamaica, and every wash pan beater must go.
Yes.
Right. I think we need to keep on this. We need to strike up a conversation, keep the conversation going, and see where we
Yeah.
can, how far we can reach in saving a couple black lives.
Yes. Saving a couple black lives. Because even if one black life is saved, it is still saved. Saving
Yeah.
a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. So people are WhatsApp me at the same time. Because people are watching from all different courses, you know, they can't watch the figures right there. People are watching, sending me messages. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. Have a good night. Herbert, peace out. God bless you. Hashtag.
Peace out.
Let's link up. I'm
We
going
talk
to definitely
later.
go on your page. I might go on what TikTok. All right, Herbert, peace out. Yeah, take care of yourself. All right, cheers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining and staying in the discussion there. Going from all different sectors, from Israel, conservative, labor, security for persons who are leaders up there, fake. So many different fake witches out there, in regards to what is happening in the world today, But the one thing for sure is that the path to lasting solution lies in dialogue and diplomacy, something which I keep saying. It's time for all parties involved to come to the table, to engage in genuine and constructive negotiations, and to seek common ground for peaceful coexistence. Peace is not an impossible dream. It's an achievable goal, and the international community must work tirelessly to facilitate this process. When I'm walking in the park and I see dogs, and I used to have a fear of dogs at one point, and I went to this other park, but now, I sort of get to know them and I try to get to understand them, and I recognize them, and some of them look a bit funny, but I start to learn to see how we can coexist. Dogs, humans. The cycle of violence must be broken. That's not just with Israel and Hamas, Ukraine and Russia. It must be broken also within us, within our youths. Black and black violence. In Jamaica, you've got fighting, gunmen, babies, mother killed. It is alleged, I think. The minute the MP's mother of his daughter, and so the only way forward is really through dialogue. There must have been something that created that need to kill. 15-year-old girl Eliana killed. I keep saying resolution, solution, a sincere commitment to peace that we must have. The human cost of this conflict, your conflict, impending conflict to be, is too high to bear any longer. And the time has come to prioritize the well-being of all those affected and ensure a brighter, more peaceful future for the people of Israel, Palestine, London, England, Jamaica, USA, everywhere. It must be a peaceful existence. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. God bless you. Peace out and have a good one. And remember to like and subscribe to the Sylbourne Show. And Saturday night, see you around on Talk and Sip. Let's go.